Why is Tron not listed on most American exchanges when it's a top 8 cryptocurrency? It's the #1 blockchain for the most USDT transactions. Thought for 47s. Tron, TRX, is indeed a top 8 cryptocurrency by market cap. Currently around number 8 with $30 billion market cap as of April 2026, and it absolutely dominates USDT Tether activity. It's the clear #1 blockchain for USDT transactions and holdings market cap +1. Tron has held the largest share of USDT supply, often $80 billion plus, and processed trillions in USDT transfer volume annually, e.g. $7.9 trillion in 2025 alone across billions of transactions, far ahead of Ethereum or others. This is because TRC20, Tron's version of USDT, offers extremely low fees and fast finality, making it the go-to rail for stablecoin payments, remittances, and DeFi in emerging markets and globally OpenExo +1. While the limited presence on U.S. exchanges, the main reason is U.S. regulatory risk and compliance caution, not a lack of popularity or utility. SEC enforcement action against Justin Sun and Tron, 2023. The U.S. Securities and Exchange Commission sued Sun, Tron's founder, and related entities, alleging that TRX and BTT were offered and sold as unregistered securities via an ICO-like structure, plus claims of fraud and market manipulation. This created massive legal and reputational risk for any U.S. regulated exchange that wanted to list or keep TRX. SEC. Binance US delisted TRX in April 2023, explicitly citing regulatory standing in the U.S. and other factors. This was right after the SEC lawsuit. There has been no relisting CryptoSlit. Coinbase still does not allow trading of TRX. Their official page states Tron is not tradable on Coinbase even in 2026. Coinbase is the largest and most compliance-focused U.S. retail exchange, so its absence alone makes TRX feel missing for many Americans. Coinbase. The case was largely resolved in early March 2026 with a light settlement, $10 million civil penalty paid by a Tron-affiliated company, no personal penalty for Sun, and many claims dismissed. But U.S. exchanges are extremely conservative. They hate any lingering securities risk, even after settlement. Listing a token that the SEC once called an unregistered security can invite scrutiny, fines, or delistings. Finance Yahoo. Where is it available in the U.S.? It trades on several compliant U.S. platforms. Kraken, full TRX USD, and other pairs. Actively promoted. Kraken, Gemini, Robinhood. But these are smaller than Coinbase in retail market share. So Tron still feels underrepresented on most American exchanges that everyday users think of. Bottom line, Tron's massive real-world utility, especially USDT transfers, is mostly happening outside the heavily regulated U.S. market. U.S. exchanges prioritize avoiding SEC headaches over adding high-utility but legally risky assets. The recent SEC resolution, and even the spot TRX ETF filing by Canary Capital, are positive signals that could improve things over time. But exchanges move slowly and cautiously on anything with a past enforcement history. In short, regulatory overhang from the SEC case and the associated delistings is the core reason, not lack of demand or fundamentals. This is a common story for several top 20 coins that had early ICOs or founder drama. 75 sources. Does Tron get used more than XRP? So many people think XRP is the future of banking when more USDT is transferred on Tron compared to any other blockchain. Tron looks more like the future of banking than XRP. What am I missing? You're not missing much on the raw usage side. Tron does get used far more than XRP for actual on-chain transfers, especially stablecoin activity. And your point about USDT volume is spot on. Here's a clear breakdown based on 2025, early 2026 data, on-chain usage, and volume comparison. Tron dominates stablecoin, especially USDT transfers. In 2025 alone, Tron processed $7.9 trillion in USDT transfer volume across billions of transactions. News Bitcoin. It consistently handles $30+ billion daily in USDT/USDC flows, often representing a huge share, sometimes 40% plus historically, though it dipped toward 14 to 26% in some monthly snapshots as other chains like Solana Ethereum grew. Fork log. Tron hosts $85+ billion in USDT supply, frequently the largest single chain for Tether. This makes it the go-to rail for retail remittances, P2P payments, exchange settlements, and emerging market flows where sub-1 cent fees and near-instant finality matter most. Daily transactions on Tron often exceed 10 to 11 million, with millions of active addresses driven heavily by stablecoin activity development. XRP Ledger, XRPL, activity is much lower. Daily transfer volume on the entire XRP network has been reported around $2 to $2.2 billion in some comparisons, making Tron's stablecoin volume 10x plus higher. MEXC, daily transactions hover around 2 to 3 million recently, up due to some RWA tokenization activity, but this is still a fraction of Tron's scale. Ripple's on-demand liquidity, ODL, the product that actually uses XRP as a bridge asset, has seen growth, e.g., reports of hundreds of billions to over $1 in annualized payment volume and peaks. But even optimistic figures put total ODL-related flows far below Tron's stablecoin throughput. Many Ripple net partnerships use the messaging settlement software without needing XRP at all. In short, Tron wins decisively on raw transaction count, stablecoin settlement volume, and real-world retail emerging market usage. It's the workhorse for moving USDT cheaply and quickly, which powers a ton of global dollar-denominated activity outside traditional banking rails. Why so many still see XRP as the future of banking? This is the key distinction you're sensing. It's not about current volume, but target audience, design intent, and institutional fit. Tron is retail stablecoin first, optimized for high volume, low value, cost-sensitive transfers, remittances, P2P, arbitrage, content gaming, etc. Great for crypto native or emerging market dollar access, but it carries more centralization concerns, DPoS with super representatives and founder regulatory baggage, Justin Sunset case settled lightly in March 2026 with a $10 million penalty on an affiliate. No admission of wrongdoing. Reuters. Banks and big institutions are hesitant due to compliance, KYC/AML preferences, and perception issues. Stablecoins on Tron are mostly used outside heavy regulation. XRP Ripple is institutional cross-border payments first. Designed specifically as a neutral bridge asset for fiat-to-fiat settlements between different currencies banks, e.g., USD XRP MXN in seconds, without pre-funding correspondent accounts. Ripple targets banks, payment providers, and corporates, partnerships with Santander, SBI, Standard Chartered, etc. ODL aims to replace or augment inefficient parts of SWIFT correspondent banking. XRPL has features appealing to institutions: fast settlement 3-5 seconds, low energy, built-in compliance tools, and now RLUSD stablecoin on ledger. Post-sec resolution, case largely wrapped by 2025, with XRP not as security on exchanges. It has clearer regulatory path in the US, making it more bank-friendly. Many view it as competing directly with legacy systems rather than just enabling crypto-to-crypto flows. Stablecoins, like USDT on Tron, are already eating into parts of cross-border payments because they're fiat-pegged and simple. No volatility risk during the transfer. XRP enthusiasts argue it can still shine as a bridge between different stablecoins currencies or in corridors where direct stablecoin liquidity is thin. But in practice, direct stablecoin rails, on any chain, often win for simplicity. What you're missing or not. Future of banking is marketing plus institutional inertia. Banks move slowly and prioritize regulatory comfort, existing relationships, and audited systems over raw throughput. Ripple has spent years pitching directly to them. Tron hasn't, and his image hasn't helped. Volume on Tron proves decentralized rails work today for real people money. But that doesn't automatically translate to replacing core banking infrastructure. Different metrics. Tron excels at settlement volume in USDT, retail scale dollars moving. XRP's value prop is liquidity bridging for larger institutional flows. Some ODL volume gets quoted and total payments enabled. But on-chain XRP transfers remain modest. Stablecoins change the game. USDTU, SDC on efficient chains like Tron are already the future for many dollar movements. XRP has to compete with or complement them. Perception versus reality. XRP has stronger narrative around banking the unbanked via institutions and has survived long legal scrutiny. Tron's strength is quieter, more grassroots utility. You're right that Tron looks more like the practical, high-volume future of everyday dollar rails right now, especially for anyone outside legacy finance. XRP's banking future bet is more aspirational and depends on how much institutions actually adopt ODL versus just using stablecoins or improve SWIFT. Both can coexist. Tron for scale and accessibility, XRP for specific institutional bridging where it proves cheaper faster. If adoption metrics shift, e.g., more banks actively using XRP in volume, or Tron gaining institutional trust, the picture could evolve. But as of 2026, your observation holds. Tron is handling way more real transfers today.